have to use this microphone, or one of them. You have to use the microphone because. All right. Why is this not working?
It did for a second. Try it again.
There. Hello? Hello, testing. I apologize for starting later tonight. From what I've heard, traffic's been insane, so I was waiting for people to come in. But we're going to get started now, and I'm going to read from my little script because I'm not always good off the cuff, but I'm better than I used to be. So, welcome to the Marketing Automation and AI Meetup, and here comes Chris Rollins. No. Yay! I was waiting for him. Anyways, I'm glad that you're all here tonight. Thank you for coming. I'm Sharon DeCaro. I'm the organizer. I've been doing this since 2023. It is I need somebody to take my video. I've been doing this since 2023, and I've started it to educate people and educate myself. I get to bring in AI people. People that learn stuff, and I've got obsessed with it. What I do is now I'm an AI educator and an AI consultant, but I'm also a brand strategist, and I do LinkedIn profile branding for people. So if you need LinkedIn, which we all do, hit me up. I create the banners, do all the posts. I help you get followers and to get in front of people. So I'm also looking for sponsors for 2026. So if you want your company on our posts or anything, hit me up for that. Let's see what else. One quick ask: if you find value in the meetup and you decide you're going to post or you've taken photos, please tag me because I want to know that we're doing a good job, and that makes me happy so I can continue to post more. Or let's see what else. Okay, so a quick rundown of tonight. 6:30 to 7, we do networking, and then from 7 to 8-ish, is our speaker. We do Q&A. It's mixed with it. But we have a hard close at 8:30. So we also have $8 discounted parking vouchers. So please do not leave here without getting your voucher, okay? Otherwise, it's very expensive. And of course, huge thanks to the Capital Factory. Give it a hand. They sponsor this, and they give us this room and do live stream. So we love the Capital Factory. It's the center of gravity for business and entrepreneurs and startups in Austin. And then I want to say thanks to Eli Springer. He is our coordinator. He's been in and out of here, and he's been making sure all the tech's working properly. So now let's get to tonight's speaker. Not yet. I met Adam Lyons at an event, and I was blown away by all his AI knowledge. He is the king. He's been around AI for probably 3 or 4 years, and he knows so much about compliance and things that businesses don't even think about. He is the Chief AI and Revenue Officer at chiefaiofficers.com, and tonight he's going to talk about the 5 ways that companies are screwing up AI and how to fix it for real ROI. He's going to talk about the problem with AI and how businesses and entrepreneurs are using it wrong. People are using it they're using it like software. It's not, it's strategy. In this session, Adam will show the 5 most common and costly ways companies are blowing their AI investments and show you exactly how to flip the script to get immediate measurable ROI. And you'll learn why your AI efforts feel like busy work with no bottom line impact. The number 1 reason AI isn't working, hint, it's not the tech. What growth stage companies are doing right now to make AI actually drive revenue, and why every business needs a chief AI officer. The session is for founders and execs and consultants who want strategy that sticks. Without further ado, let's welcome Adam Lyons. Woo!
This microphone?
Yeah.
Perfect. Hello. Oh, there's an amazing delay. That is so horrible, but I'm excited for it. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for having me here, guys. I'm really excited to be here and talk to you all. Raise your hand if you're a founder, if you own a company, just so I can see how many of you. Okay, so that's about 2/3 of the room. In my head, I was like 50-50 on what kind of people we're going to have in the room. That's good. I'm, like I said, really excited to be here. I got into AI in 2021 with a massive failure that cost me $20 million. You guys want to hear about me failing? That's a good way to start. So what happened was I had this great idea. AI was a thing. It was becoming a thing. And I was like, you know who I want to help? I want to help English language students, because I studied English language at school. And I was like, I'm going to help them make real money. Because English language students, they go on, and most of them are not lucky enough to have a career actually writing. What they end up doing is like maybe journalism about articles they don't really care about, or maybe they end up doing something completely different. And I was like, that's not good enough. I'm going to help. I had a great idea. See, what English language students were missing in my head in 2021 was the structure of marketing. And I was like, I'm going to use AI to give them the structure of how to sell. And then I'm going to find companies that need better marketing, and I'm going to give them English language students powered by AI. Because at the time, AI wasn't really good at writing, but it was really good at understanding structure. So I could take the top marketing structures in the world, give it to an English language student who knew how to write. The next thing you know, you got kids coming out of college, and I could pay them 7, 10, 15 grand a month to write. They could write from wherever they were. They could put themselves through university if they wanted to, and I would just split the money with them 50-50. Great idea. It was so good that I paid for a booth at a massive conference called the Traffic and Conversion Summit, and I paid $25,000 out of my own pocket, and then an extra $20,000 to man the booth, and I got a pipeline of millions of dollars in sales at that event. I mean, it was just selling like hotcakes. Companies would pay us $7,000 a month to never pay sales commission again. Can you imagine? No sales commission. You just have writers, English language students, who are going to split the money with me, $3,500 each, and they're going to take over all the written sales in your company. Text messages, emails, you name it, they're going to handle it. They don't have to get on the phone, it's all written, and they have all the sales scripts from AI. Well, this sold so well that one of the founders of the conference came up to me and said, "You're causing a bit of a buzz at my conference. Would you like to come on stage and talk about how you're using AI?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love that, because I'm dumb." And so I went up on stage, and I stood there and I said, "Yeah, the secret to this is AI. Did you know for just $100 a month, you too could do my strategy?" And I lost my pipeline within 3 months. Every single sale vanished, one by one by one by one. And it was the same. Hey, we loved your idea, we like doing it, and then we realized we might as well just get our own person to use the AI structure and just do it internally. And I sat just watching this multi-million-dollar pipeline disappear to be, a few hundred grand. And it was okay, I made my money back, but still, I was butthurt. And so I did what any butthurt person would do. I contacted the founder of that company, who happened to live in Austin, Texas, an hour from where I live, because I live just outside of Austin. And I said, "Hey, I'm very sad your company destroyed and built me as well at the same time. And I said, I would love to sit and talk to you and learn about this AI stuff." And so in 2021, he agreed, and we did lunch. And over lunch, he explained to me what AI was. And I vowed in 2021 that I would not talk about this to anybody because I'd learned my mistake. And clearly, I gave up on my vow. And that's why I'm here today. So I want to share with you a little bit about the understanding that I took from that talk in 2021 and how it shaped my journey in AI, and how ultimately I realized that most companies are using AI wrong. Now, I'm blessed. I'm at a point right now where I've worked with thousands of clients, guiding them through AI usage. As Sharon so kindly mentioned, I'm the Chief AI Officer at chiefaiofficer.com. It's not my company. I became a partner, but I was brought on because of my knowledge with AI and how good I am at helping companies. And it's all because I actually understand it. So Does AI exist? Raise your hand if you believe it does. Yeah, you're all wrong. It doesn't. Literally doesn't exist. We don't have AI. Isn't that terrifying? I'm going to explain it to you by explaining to you about Back to the Future 2. Bear with me, it's worth it, I promise. In Back to the Future 2, the movie was set in what year? Do you guys know? 2015. It was set in 2015. And the number one product in Back to the Future 2 that everybody wanted to exist was the hoverboard. Okay, so my question to you is, in 2015, Christmas, what was the number one toy sold that year? Every year there's a number one toy. What was it? It was the hoverboard. In 2015, as Back to the Future predicted, the hoverboard was the number one most sold toy. Except it wasn't a hoverboard, was it? It was a two-wheeled Segway missing the stick. But the genius marketing company behind it called it a hoverboard. You can look it up. The hoverboard was the number one toy sold in 2015, thanks to the marketing of Back to the Future 2. We don't have AI. We have predictive text, and we're calling it AI. And I know I'm upsetting a lot of people by saying that, and I'm sorry if you're upset. You're just wrong. You see, what they did was they came up with this really clever tool to let us think that AI exists, and then they renamed AI AGI. Artificial General Intelligence. But we always thought of artificial general intelligence as artificial intelligence and predictive text as predictive text. Raise your hand if you would trust your entire company to be run by predictive text. So when I call the technology what its actual name is, suddenly no one wants to have that run their company. And it's shocking, because that's what everyone is attempting to do right now, and it would be a big mistake. You cannot have predictive text run your company because it isn't artificial general intelligence, it's just very, very good predictive text. Yeah, I know. I'm like the guy that comes around and tells everyone, hey, Santa Claus doesn't exist. That's like who I am to AI. But here's the good news. The good news is when you see the technology for what it really is, it's really powerful, and we can all use it, but you gotta use it in the right way. And so my goal today is to break the illusion of AI and get you to see what it really is and how you can use it to do amazing things. Now, if you want a little bit more evidence that AI doesn't exist, by the way, and I feel that I really wanna hammer this home, I'd like you to name me an AI, just one, that actually has the word AI in its name. You see, because it would be false representation to have a product named something that it isn't actually. Go for it.
No, I do have a question now.
Yeah.
I'll be devil's advocate right here. They've done studies where they try to get rid of AI, and AI went into self-protective mode and tried literally using emails of other people to try to self-preserve itself versus getting
So, I love this, and obviously I've heard this story, okay? But yeah, I mean, this is so easy. AI is predictive text. It's modeling human behavior. Well, if you threaten a human, the human reacts like it's being threatened, right? And if I say to an actor, when you're threatened, act like you're being threatened. So if you have an AI that's predictive text, and you write threatening language to it, it's going to behave like a human would when it was threatened. It's copying.
So it's just copying our
It's just copying our behavior because it's trained on our behavior. That's exactly it. That's what predictive text is. Now, by the way, I love that, that interview. Yeah, of course. It was so important because that will help so many other people understand. You see, it's in a lot of people's interest to make you believe that AI is AI. And by the way that the human language works, there is a very good chance that this new definition of AI as predictive text will stick. For example, like they added the word "dope" to the dictionary thanks to The Simpsons. That got added. We didn't use that word before like it did, but then it became part of it. In fact, I think I just heard recently that 6'7" just got added to the dictionary. I know, right? My kids are obsessed with the word. But that's how English language works. The more we use a word, the more it becomes part of our lexicon. And, like I said, I studied this at school. So likewise, artificial intelligence may become the word we use to describe the advanced predictive text that we have. But when you actually see the tool for what it really is, you can do really, really good things with it. So please note that, like I said, there is no AI called AI. I know that because OpenAI is the company. but the product is GPT. XAI is the company, but the product, Grok. Meta AI is the company, but the product, Llama. See, they're smart, they've got lawyers. You can't call it AI because it's not AI. Welcome to revelation number 1. From this revelation, we can now begin to understand absolutely everything that we're doing, because now as a business owner, we can make some pretty smart freaking choices because we can use it like it really is. You see, if AI, and I'm going to use the word AI throughout this talk, but please note, I really just mean advanced predictive text, but because the language has changed, I'm going to adapt to it. If AI was actually working in your company, your meetings would be shorter, your profit margin would be much fatter, and your Sunday inbox would be boring. You wouldn't be working weekends. You wouldn't be thinking, how do I get more revenue? If AI was actually doing its job that we were told it was going to do, we wouldn't need staff. We'd just say to the AI, hey, take over this role, do it for me. The AI's like, yeah, sure, no problem, Bob, I got you. And it's going to do the work. But it isn't doing that, which means to get it to do that, we're going to have to do something else. Okay? And that's my mission today. My mission today is to help you with that. In fact, MIT did a study. You've probably heard of MIT. 95% of companies who are using AI, right? Many companies are not using it at all. But those that are using generative AI aren't seeing an ROI from it. 95%. That's MIT. That's not me. And it's not because it isn't working. It's because we're using it wrong. In our brains, we're using it like the movies. We're using it like artificial intelligence instead of very, very good predictive text. And I'm going to show you how to fix it. I'm going to take you through 5 truths. And it's really just looking at the 5 big mistakes that people are making. And it's going to be a fun game. And please note, there's no attack on anyone here. But I'm going to try and see how many of you are making the mistakes. That's my mission here, is to see how many of you are making them. The goal is, when you do it right, we want AI to stop being the future and to start being a tool that gives you your weekends back. That's right. Thank you. Thanks, Shane. I appreciate it. That's what we want. That's our goal. Okay, so I've realized that companies were doing it wrong. Like I said, I shared with you one of my pain points, and I've been a consultant to businesses for over 20 years now. I've consulted for over 2,000 companies, and I'm one of the lecturers, guest lecturers at the University of Texas in Austin at the MBA level. Just so you guys know who I am, I'm not just some random dude with a microphone. And I consult for a couple of billion-dollar companies as well. And everyone thinks of AI like a magic trick. I literally had a 1-hour conversation today with somebody being like, can we just get AI to do that? And I'm like, you want to get AI to spam people illegally? And they go, no, but like legally. I'm like, what does that mean? I'm going to get AI to spam people legally. They go, yeah, do that. I'm like, it's not magic. I can't wave a wand, right? That's not what it does. You have to actually understand what AI is capable of, and then you can make it do things, really, really cool things. So one of my clients is a multi-billion-dollar marine construction company. And they spent 6 figures trying to build out a project. They had a bunch of tools they were investigating, and they didn't even build it. They were just paying money to investigate what they were going to do because they're such a big organization, right? They spent a lot of money researching that it was going to overhaul their system. And after a lot of meetings and a lot of pitch decks and no tools, nothing, no ROI. The question is why? How could they do that? How could they be in that situation? What did they do wrong? There was one question that they forgot to ask themselves. They didn't define what success would be if we put AI in the company. You know the thing that scares me the most, by the way? Most people's definition of success for AI is, we'll need less people. That's terrifying. We're going to fire people. That's how we'll know this has worked. We'll make more money and fire people. When I first started coming out as an AI educator and talking about it, some of my friends started hating me, like, you're the one getting rid of the jobs. I'm like, have you listened to me talk? I literally say, don't get rid of anybody. That's really bad. AI should not get rid of people. AI is something that we use to enhance people, and that's the argument I'm going to make throughout this entire talk. The one question that we asked, what's the one thing that, if improved, would make the investment worth it? And after we spoke about it, we realized staff wasting time. Staff messing around, not doing their job. That's a big thing, right? Let's get our staff to... Why do you want to fire the staff? You don't want to fire the staff. You want to fire the staff that aren't doing the job. What if AI could get them to do their job and easier, and they'd be happy with it? That would be hundreds of tasks across the company. So we built an AI-led standard operating system for the company. Simple, trackable steps. Oh, there's a whole bunch of entrepreneurs in this room. Raise your hand if you have full SOPs for every single process in your company. 1, me, and you are half. You're like 6, 7 on it. I'm going to make that reference as much as possible. That's great. Okay, so, but notice how nobody else raised their hand. You do get a round of applause for that. I go into boardrooms of multi-billionaires and none of their staff raise their hand. Your SOPs are going to increase the valuation of the company. I've consulted for a lot of M&A deals, and it's one of the biggest things. Do you have a book of SOPs that we can just take over and follow? No, no one does. I do, you do, no one else does. So when you can go into almost any company and be like, hey, we're going to build out your SOPs, and they're like, oh, that's great, that's a really good, valuable thing. Why are the staff not getting the job done? Is it because maybe there are no SOPs? Right? But what if we had AI-led SOPs? So when we did that, all it did was improve productivity by 30 to 40% across 800 people. That's all it did. Right? Kind of huge, kind of huge. And that's when I realized AI isn't the hero we've been looking for, it's your sidekick. Right? But you've got to tell it what winning looks like. AI has to know the end goal. It's got to know what it's trying to achieve, and most people don't tell it what it's trying to achieve. It's predictive text. If it doesn't know what the goal is, it can't help you get there. It's not AI, it's predictive text. So AI isn't failing, we are failing AI. We're not using AI correctly. I literally watched another guy today, one of my clients, I was getting him to use AI right in front of me, and I was like, hey, tell AI this, and he summarized it. I said, no, write it in full. And he goes, it's good enough. I'm like, it is not good enough, write it in full. I need your full mission statement, I need your actual defined goals, I need everything in there that you actually want to do. He goes, well, I just told him I want to grow. It's not good enough. It's predictive text. It doesn't make up the rest of the information. What it does, it guesses. And you know what happens when it guesses? It hallucinates. Why did it hallucinate? You didn't give it the information, so it guessed. Why did it guess? Because it's predictive text. It's guessing. That's all it can do. So, deploying tools without goals, bad. Automating chaos, bad. How are you going to automate something with AI when you don't have SOPs? I mean, just be real with me. How can you do that? The first thing, you tell somebody, I'm sure you guys have done the peanut butter banana sandwich test, the peanut butter jelly banana, whatever you Americans eat, but you know what I mean, peanut butter jelly sandwich test, there we are. If you say to somebody, make a peanut butter jelly sandwich, you just assume they know how to do it, but what if they don't? What if they're from England like me and we don't have peanut butter jelly and we put banana with peanut butter because it goes better and honey, right? It's just a different case. I'm gonna give you a different sandwich. You're gonna be like, where's the jelly? And I'm like, well, I used honey, it's better. And there's gonna be a whole discussion and I've made everything wrong and I would get fired. That's what AI is gonna do if you don't define it better. People trust machines more than they trust their own processes, and that's scary. Why don't you have money in your company? You don't have SOPs about making money. You gotta have it. So it's not artificial intelligence that's the problem, it's human impatience. The companies that win are not the ones that have the newest tool, they're the ones that understand that AI doesn't replace humans, it's there to amplify direction, amplify our work. That's what we want to do, right? And then when you point AI at a mess, it makes a bigger mess. If you point AI clearly at what it needs to do, then it will do that clearly and maximize it. I like thinking of the Sorcerer's Apprentice, Mickey Mouse, and the brooms and the water and the well. That's AI, right? It will absolutely get you the water, and it will flood the room if you don't give it better direction. So the 5 shifts, let's talk about that. And just out of interest, I want to check in. I like interactive talks. Does this make sense so far? You guys with me? It's like 3 of you. That's good. That's good enough. We'll get that. All right. So you got to start with guardrails. Have you guys ever heard of a YouTuber called Mr. Beast? Okay, so I haven't validated just how authentic this document is, but I do want to point out that my AI had no problem finding a Google Drive document from supposedly Mr. Beast's production team on how they make their videos. Probably shouldn't have had that as a public link. Without governance or some kind of guardrails about how your staff are allowed to use AI in a company, it's like giving a Ferrari to a toddler, right? Like they're just gonna smash it and ruin it or puke all over it. I got 5 kids, I understand. And companies leak confidential strategies, even if they're not using AI. I don't even know, first of all, I don't 100% know if this is a document from Mr. Beast's team, but it is a very, very long document and it looks very legit as far as I'm concerned. This is just a Google Drive document that just happened to be public. And my AI found it like that. Not a problem. It was like, yes, here it is, I found that document. So they don't even have to be using AI, and if they don't have guardrails around AI, my AI can go find it. Yeah.
When you say public, do you just mean like on the share permission?
Yeah, they clicked share and said, anybody with the link. But AI has the link. So AI can go find the link. Anybody with the link or anybody using AI that wants to track down links. See, it didn't matter if you had a public document before, because who's going to type in that really, really long link? But when you've got AI that can read every single word on that document and AI that can find those links, it can track them down for you. Yeah.
Adam, two things. What AI product are you using when you say my AI tool?
Yeah, so I use pretty much every single major AI tool, and I switch between them. But I've trained them.
Now, the other thing is, the reason why I was able to find that public document is because all the tools are technically the foundation model is trained on the same stuff.
Yes, and you're not incorrect, but it's worth knowing, for example, that only recently was OpenAI, ChatGPT, able to look at Google. It was actually only looking at Bing and guessing the Google results. So that changed. So they've got different models because it was built on the Microsoft system.
Technically, the first one is a little bit different.
Well, right, but what I'm saying, but again, just to keep it on track, the point is, this document, it found live, and there it was sitting there on the internet. And any document that's live on the internet, AI can go and find. If it's not hidden, if there's no guardrails. So the question is, do you have guardrails around your documents in your company? Raise your hand if you do. Great. No staff member in your company can click public on a document and make something public by accident. Great, okay, yeah, you're fine in a bank. That makes a difference. But, next question. I love that you're at a bank. Did you make all your staff re-sign contracts about use of AI in company? Oops. It should work that way because any staff member can walk in with a pair of Ray-Ban Meta glasses and scan every single document. Do you test for AI glasses? There is not a single company in a single industry that I haven't been able to pull apart their governance in about 7 minutes. That's a bank. And I can now send somebody in with Meta AI glasses, look at all your spreadsheets, backwards engineer them, and know all the data. Send one staff member in. Could be a cleaner. But if you're not scared, if your security team are not taking Meta glasses off people, you're in trouble. And if you're not telling the security team they should take Meta glasses off people, you're in trouble. And that's only one of the AI devices that are coming out. I use a device called a Claude Note. It attaches to my phone. At any point, I can hit record and record any audio conversation, anywhere, wherever I am. No one ever questions that device. I go into meeting rooms, turn it on, record the whole meeting. It's one of the things I love about Texas. It's a one-party record state. I only need to be the one to give permission to record this. And I can go to any industry. Yeah?
Isn't that illegal in states where it is two-party?
I live in Texas. No, you're right. It is illegal to do it. But that's the point, right? There is not a single company that I've met right now today that hire me, right? I charge $150,000 to be an AI consultant for a company. I'm not cheap. 150 grand. But I've got a 100% success rate of finding problems in companies' governance, even banks, even the medical industry. You are all failing at your AI protection, almost all of you. Because it wasn't on your list of things to do. Because nothing bad had happened yet. Well, except Samsung in 2023, when two of their developers used some AI to help develop some code and accidentally gave away all of their patents. Don't believe me? Look it up. Yeah, oops. And how much can we even trust AI companies when you've got companies that have a $1.5 billion valuation like Builder.ai that then have all sorts of charges brought against them because supposedly they were using humans instead of AI to do the coding? Again, if you're an owner of a company and you don't have very, very strict guidance and guardrails and governance about how AI is used in your company, you have a problem. It's a big problem. Every staff member should have re-signed contracts. Every AI tool in your company, you should have approval rates on which ones they can use and which ones they cannot use. And please tell me none of you have ever said the words, use AI for that. Because we used to say use Google for that. Just Google it. But you can't do that with AI. There are too many different tools. There are too many different issues. Some of the AI software that people use, inside its own terms and conditions, it gains access to ownership of anything you put in there. Terrifying. And what's crazy is business owners are trying to turn a blind eye. It doesn't affect me, it doesn't affect me. Samsung's patents are gone, cannot get them back. You can't go to court, you can't fight for them, they are gone. Because it's not an intelligence, it's a predictive text and a search engine combined. All right, it's a bit more complicated than that, but you get the idea. You've got to think of it how it actually is, and you've got to realize that even if you're not using AI, Somebody in your team might be, so you have to have governance. AI glasses are great and fun and terrifying, right? So terrifying. And you know the worst part? If I walk in somewhere with my AI glasses on and I'm not hitting record, they're still passively picking up voices and listening in because they have to hear the wake word. So they have to be listening all the time. They have to be. So again, we should just have some pretty strong policies about that. Anyway, let's continue. You gotta move away from random acts of AI to ROI, right? So what do we mean by this? You can't chase demos. Every week someone's like, have you seen this new AI tool? Did you hear about this one? Did you hear about that one? Let me help you out with that. Most AI tools are not real AI tools. They are a wrapper around somebody else's AI, right? So the other AI is the candy, they've just switched out the wrappers on you. And the amount of companies I go into where they're like, we're paying $15,000 a month for this really cool AI tool, and we have all these services. And I'm like, that same tool is $100 if you just went to the core AI, right? So what are the core AI companies, right? You know them already. It's OpenAI, we've got Google, we've got Meta, there's X, there's Claude, right, Anthropic. Nova is Amazon's one. Not a lot of people know that, but that's Alexa Plus. I actually really like Alexa Plus. I think it's a really cool AI tool. And I think that's about it. I'm just going off the top of my head, but I think that's every single one that I've named. Was that DeepSeek? We don't talk about that one. We don't deal with that one. We don't talk about the one that, read the terms and conditions and then. So Nova, that's the name of their AI, so the Amazon one, yeah. So, but like, here's the thing that you guys are gonna get. Anything other than what I just mentioned, it is probably a piece of software that does not have AI in it, and it is just pulling an API from somebody else's, which means the core tool can do the same job. The core tool can do the same job. So when you're paying $15,000 or $10,000 or $300 for a tool, and even if it says you gain access to every tool, do you though? Yeah, you do. But they're gonna truncate your usage in different ways. Like, imagine this. Imagine if I said to you, there is a restaurant downtown, and it's $50 a pizza. And there's another 2 restaurants next door that are also pizza restaurants that are also $50 a pizza. And then I said, but I've got a guy that for $20, all you can eat pizza, and it's the same pizza. You'd be like, no. I'm like, what do you mean it's the same? You'd be like, no. It's not the same, is it? You go, no, it is, it's the same. And you'd be like, how are you getting it? I'm like, well, the next day, when it's stale and no one wants it, we reheat that, and that's what you're getting, all the leftovers. You'd be like, yeah, that's why I pay $50, I want the good one. It's kind of the same with these other tools. What they're doing is they're finding other ways to cut costs. They're either downgrading the model on you at certain points, so you're using an older version, or they're truncating how many words you get less output. And I'm gonna make an argument that if we see AI as predictive text, it's actually more important that I get as many words as I want, and I don't like it. So these are called tokens, and token usage doesn't directly translate to letters, but it is not words either. It's almost like syllables is a better way of thinking about it. So like my name's Adam, my name would probably have 2 tokens, right? Adam, it'd probably be 2, but it doesn't always work like that, but I find that's a good way of helping people understand. And every token costs the company money. So when you buy an unlimited plan, the more letters or words that you get, the more you're costing them, and you've probably heard that AI is expensive. So what they want to do is they want to make sure that you spend less, obviously, than you give them in money. So when you have unlimited usage, they're doing everything they can to just delete the amount of tokens you're using. Most of my job is trying to get as many tokens as possible out of companies, and if you're listening, Sam, I'm sorry, that's my mission. But you do a great job. So I've found that if you really want to get really good ROI, you got to ask yourself this one question. We're going to use AI to, what is it going to do? What is the one task it's going to do, which will save or make us, and then what is it going to do? And if you can't complete that sentence clearly and succinctly, you actually don't have a strategy, you're guessing, it's a distraction, it's just a new tool. So when somebody comes to me, this new video tool can make ads. I'm like, are you currently making ads? They're like, no. And I'm like, you probably don't want to start by making ads. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, well, maybe you've got to have an ad framework. Why don't you use AI to develop an AI ad strategy first? Let's not just start by paying for a video software and buying software. Let's start by We can develop the strategy inside ChatGPT or Gemini. We don't need to pay for a tool right now. And a large part of my job as a chief AI officer is convincing people to not spend money on AI and to say, save it, and let's do smarter things with it. And as boring as it is, that's what you really need to be doing. Most of the time, you need to be looking at AI and thinking, how can we come up with a better way of using the tools we already have first? And then we'll make a case for getting new tools. So from autopilot to assisted overnight. So this one was pretty crazy. A good friend of mine, a CEO, was using AI to handle event sales. And I'm a big fan of AI sales bots, by the way. I still am. I think AI sales is great. But I don't like the voice ones. I like the written ones. There's lots of reasons for that. The biggest one, do you guys know what the biggest one is? Accountability. I want to see what's said. And this is why. Because one day, there was this big event, and the AI was chatting at like 2 in the morning. My top tip for AI, by the way, is your best sales happen at like 2 a.m., which is really awkward because you're not supposed to text people, especially with AI at that time of day. But there you have it. That's where it works out best. So you got to be very careful with that. But it's worth knowing that a lot of sales come in at night. The AI made up the date. The person says, oh, I'd love to come to that event. I can't make it on that day. And the AI went, no problem. What day can you make it? Because it was handling objections. And the person said, well, I can make this other day. He goes, no problem, we'll put the event on just for you. I went, really? Yep, no problem. We will have the event right there on that day. And the guy, oh, thank you so much. Wired the money across. And then we had to contact them, give them a refund, apologize. And yeah, it was terrible. So the point is, you should never just trust AI to do everything. AI should be your assistant, and a human has to double check everything. Because sometimes it's not thinking, it's just guessing. And when you say, handle objections, make sales, the AI goes, got it. I will handle the objections, and I will make sales at all costs, right? So this is a large part about learning how AI works. Prompting. Oh, you all suck at prompting. I'm just going to be real. Everyone sucks at prompting. Even the people that say, hey, here's how to prompt, you suck at prompting. And by the way, I'm calling out OpenAI here. I love you guys. I love you guys so much, and your prompt guidance sucks. They all suck. And let me explain why. Most people prompt like it's Google. They just go like, tell me a good restaurant, right? What's a good restaurant? Or write me an ad campaign. Write me an ad campaign for my company, if you're lucky. That method is what I call Google prompting, and it's really, really bad, okay? Now the pros do something called persona method prompting. And persona method prompting is significantly better than Google prompting. It is still not good, but it is better. Where you're like, you are a senior marketing strategist. You know everything about writing marketing and doing sales via email. You're going to write 7 persuasive emails using the most persuasive language you know, and your goal is to increase the open rates by 25%, and you're going to use curiosity-based subject lines, and you know everything about writing, and you're so good, yeah, about how good you are. No context. None. How about this? I use a method called a reverse prompt. And I say this. I'm trying to increase the revenue of my company via email. Who are the top 3 people in the world at solving that problem? And the AI goes and does some research and says, these 3 people could solve that problem. I was like, oh yeah. And how would they do it? And they'll say, oh, they'd do it just like this. I'm like, that's a neat, pretty framework. Could we combine all 3 of them into one method? I'm like, oh yeah, you can take this from this person, this from this person, this from this person. That's the framework I would use. And I'm like, oh. Apply that framework to my business. Sure, done. That's how you prompt. No one does this. I know because I invented it. But this method trumps everything. That framework kills it because we're making it very clear. I'm not giving it a preconceived notion. I'm saying, how would I do this? I'll give you an example. I don't know much about sports, I'll be honest with you. But I know that Usain Bolt is supposed to be really good at running. And if I had to learn how to run, I wouldn't say, you're a really good athlete, and you know a lot about running, and you're going to give me a guide to run. I would say, what does Usain Bolt do that makes him better at running? Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking he's got a genetic advantage, because that's the mistake we always make when it comes to athletes. But it turns out, if you look into it, Usain Bolt did something that not a lot of other people did. He came up with a theory on adding weight to his legs and doing a very specific set of exercises to power up his sprinting muscles. Once again, use AI, look it up, it's true. He had a different technology. He invented something. You know who else did that? Arnold Schwarzenegger, known for amazing biceps. You listen to Arnold Schwarzenegger, he doesn't bicep curl like everyone else. He realized the inside of the curl was more important than the outside, so he added more weights on the inside to get a turn and increase the pump. Same amount of exercise, but put the weight in a better distribution. It was uneven, which caused his muscles to fatigue. I don't know enough about muscles to talk about it. I just know that's what Arnold Schwarzenegger said. So I know that if I said to AI under the persona method, give me a routine, you're amazing at working out to build my biceps, you would tell me what most people say, but you would not tell me what the top 1% in the world would say. And I don't even need the top 1%, I need the specific person who's really good. There's tons of studies into this, but the people that come first at something, there's not many people behind them usually. Your undefeated champions, it's not like there are like 7 undefeated champions. You know what I mean? Like there's an undefeated champion and a whole bunch of people that have lost some fights. The thing that separates them from everyone else is usually they've got a different technique, a different method, different knowledge, they apply themselves differently. When I'm working with AI, I have access to that. Why do I want to know what the generic people think? I want, what does that person do? What does Mike Tyson do specifically? Right? What does Floyd Mayweather do specifically that makes them different? I want that piece of information. You apply that to business, you are hitting real heavy. If AI knows your goals, it is much better at predicting how to help you get the results you want. Stop telling AI how to do it. You don't know better than AI. It's got access to all the information of everybody. Ask it. I want to get this result. How do I get there? Everything will become better for you. Who teaches your staff AI in your company? Raise your hand if you pay somebody dedicated to come in and teach them AI. Oh, in that case, oh, that's great, by the way. If not, it's you or TikTok. And unless you're running weekly AI trainings, it's TikTok. Take a moment, by the way. How many of you would you trust any other compartment of your company to be run by advice from TikTok or Instagram? It's terrifying. But like the point is, you got a 60-second video where somebody's barely explaining how to do something, right? And you remember, you've got no guidance on what quality of TikTok. It's not like, oh, these TikTok influencers are the best. No, they're just learning it from whoever they happen to be following. That doesn't mean it's very good. You got to control the training. You got to make sure that the staff in your company know how to use AI, and somebody has to train them. We make a really good argument at Chief AI Officer, and I'll remind you, I wasn't a founder of this company, I got brought in. And I got brought into this company because I'm really good with AI, but they made a really good assessment. The correct person to run AI in your company does not fit into the format of the other 6 roles. Your CEO needs to focus on running the business. They don't need to be trying to stay up to date with AI. Your COO is too busy running operations day to day. Most of the time, that's one of the busiest roles. Your chief financial officer sure as hell isn't doing it. Your chief marketing officer probably uses AI for marketing, but you don't really want them handling automation processes in some other department. That leaves you with sales and technology. Sales definitely can't do it, but they're good with words, and I make an argument that your sales team are usually pretty good with AI. But chief technical officers, oh, they're not good with AI at all. Not even a little bit. They get frustrated. I put in the same prompt 3 times, got 3 different results. This is ridiculous. They get so angry. And they'll say to it, I'll put it like this. I'm going to use a JSON script just to make sure it does what I want. No, it doesn't work that way. You need a very specific person. You need somebody who understands structure, building, and strategy, and who understands words and how to use them. It's a completely different skill set. But the chief AI officers who actually know what they're doing, they've got a passion for AI, they stay on top of it. They've got a cool head for business, and they know that we don't just jump on every cool new tool, and that we know the importance is ROI. We save money by making sure you don't buy the wrong thing, and that you don't get distracted, and we focus on actually making sure your team grow. That's what you need to do. And if you're not going to hire a chief AI officer, which you don't have to do, it's you. You have to do it. If you don't, a staff member is going to invent their own policy, they're going to use their own AI, and you have no idea what they're going to do once they get hold of it. And AI training has to become standard. It's got to be something that everyone does, right? It's not like the internet. You can't just be like, figure it out yourself on the internet. AI needs somebody to actually know how to do it. We take a moment, just imagine that you have a company where AI is trusted. It's governed, so people aren't doing crazy things with it, and it's profitable. Where every employee knows exactly which tools you've approved, why they can use them, how to use them, and what to do. Imagine that your meetings are much shorter. Your inbox stays empty, My inbox used to have 13,000 unread emails. I'm like lucky if I get 10 now because I have AI to help me manage my inbox. I don't miss anything. In fact, a year ago, people used to hate on me because I constantly missed emails. There were so many in my inbox, it was just too much. And now my AI just handles all of it. It's great. But imagine that your margins and profits start going up, not because you've cut costs by firing people, but because your staff are more efficient, they're doing a better job, and the company's growing because of it. And it's not because of some new magic tool that you don't understand. It's because your systems have finally learned how to give you the best way to get exactly what you want. And that's not science fiction. That's what happens when humans lead, and the AI, it just functions as a really good sidekick. Thank you. Questions? Yes.
Okay, your last slide said train your AI to train your staff.
Yeah.
Predictive text.
Mhm.
Can you
Yeah.
train your AI, and in what sense do you mean? Do you just mean like it?
I got you. So custom GPTs are a way to get your AI to do something a specific way. So in our company, or any of the companies we work with, we don't just say give your team AI. We get a staff member to create custom GPTs for a process, a standard operating procedure. And then the AI knows how to do the process and hands it to the staff. But let me give you an actual example. We had a construction company in California. One of the hardest things to do is stucco in a wet climate. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. I didn't really know what the word stucco meant once upon a time. And I had no idea that a wet climate made a difference, right? But I've worked with so many construction companies now. I know that stucco is a type of cement. I understand, but I didn't know. I'm the one that built the custom GPT on stucco in wet climates. So the foreman has an iPad now. They go in the field. And when they're going to work in a wet climate, and they've got chat GPT or custom GPTs for everything, they'll open it up. And it'll be like, hi. AI says, please take a picture of the area where you're going to apply the stucco. And the staff member takes a picture. And it says, great. It looks like you haven't yet prepped the area. Do you have all the tools necessary? These are all of the safety equipment that you need in order to do this job. Take a picture of them and prove you have them. Oh, the foremans get pissed. I'm not going to take a picture of that shit. You know what that means? They don't have the helmet. See, one of the companies that we work with is a multi-billion-dollar construction firm. They had safety issues. Why was the foreman upset? They had safety issues. They weren't following protocol. Yeah, it's really annoying that you have to lay out all the tools and take a picture. But you know how good that is for insurance? You know how good that is to make sure that no one skips anything and no one dies on a job? Because I'm telling you, some of these construction companies I've worked with, they have had fatalities in their past. And imagine if they'd followed safety procedure because a foreman didn't complain about the fact they had to take a picture of the safety equipment. By the way, why is that not a standard operating procedure? But the AI won't let you move past that task. You got to send a picture in. Right, so now they start applying the stucco and they take a picture every step of the way and the AI confirms that was applied correctly, that was done correctly. The learning happened in the office where we trained the AI on it. So we control its training and then the staff member follows it every day and now we have a step-by-step process of that wall being built. You know what's great? You apply stucco wrong in a wet climate and it falls off. I didn't know cement could fall off. It can fall off. So now I want you to imagine a year later, that stucco falls off. And they complain, and they say, you didn't do it right. But now they can say, actually, we did it exactly right. What kind of stress were you putting on the above floors? Because that's an argument they could never have made before AI, but when you have AI, it's done correctly. And how long does it really take to take a picture, read the thing, take a picture, read the thing? Not at all. I've trained AIs to fix hydraulic presses. I've trained AI to clean hospital restrooms. I trained it to do anything. And now the staff member just has an iPad. That's where the AI is. Scroll to the right GPT, do the job. There was a question there, then here. Yes?
So, as a CAIO, what does your day-to-day look like? Is it like after you set up the company with correct AI and you train their employees and you set up all the right prompts?
You're asking such cool questions. Do you want to know like my day or a regular chief AI officer? Because they're not the same. Both. Okay. A regular chief AI officer, they're going to go into the company, and the first thing they're going to do is they're going to assess the company across all 6 departments, strengths, weaknesses, who's stressed. In one company, you'll go in there and the HR department is overworked. In another company, the accounts department's overworked. In another company, they've got acquisition issues where they're overspending to acquire materials, right? And so you just sit down and figure it out, and then we say, what is going to be the biggest return on investment from us coming in today? And it will usually be a single process. And we'll sit down and we'll calculate what the price is of that process getting fixed. And it's normally 7 figures. I'm not going to lie. In the companies we work with, it's millions. And we go, great. What if we fix that over the next 90 days? And they're like, that's the best use of this. Great. We spend the next 30 days, typically, by the way, in 6 departments. We like 6 wins versus 1, but you could just do 1. But we do 6, so we get 1 team member from each department. No one else. Everyone else leave AI alone. We're just going to work with them. And we build out 1 process for each of them that fixes 1 major problem. 6 problems get solved in 30 days. In the next 30 days, after we've built the procedure, we find somebody and we get them to use it. A second person in the department. They now use the tool the previous one was trained on. When that is validated and the second person gets the same results and it's faster, quicker, better, we then sit down with that whole department and roll it out over the next 30 days. In a 90-day sprint, 6 new procedures in 6 departments are faster, quicker, cheaper, better. At the same time, we sit down with the CEO or the founder and we say, what are your goals? You're trying to sell the company? You're trying to grow the company? And then we do a $500,000 equivalent strategic business report on the entire industry with full predictions over the next 10 years to help them pivot and do exactly what they want to do. So we act as an advisor while also optimizing the system. Those reports, you hired B&G, McKinsey, Deloitte, you're paying $500,000. We can do it in a day for free as part of our service. That's the average chief AI officer. Me, wake up in the morning, sit down and build a bot with my own AI, something to help me with my work. I like to build something every day if I can. And it normally takes me multiple days to build 1 thing. I sit down and have breakfast with my kids, and then I send my AI off on a task, and I sit and play Fortnite with my kids, watching my AI in the background do the work. And then I go back to my AI and I do some work on it. I tell my kids, wait a second. I go back and play some Fortnite with my kids. Then I'll have a meeting with a company and I'll spend a few hours in a conference solving a bunch of problems, training up our own chief AI officers. I sit and have lunch with my girlfriend who's a professional chef. We eat gourmet food every day. I sit down and play Fortnite with my kids. Get the picture? That's the power of AI. I spend a large part of my day with my family, with my kids playing games, while my AI is doing tasks. But you can't trust AI to do tasks without watching it. So keep an eye on it while playing Fortnite, right? I'm not very good at Fortnite, but because I'm watching AI, it's not because of my skills, don't judge me. And so I make sure I keep an eye on it, and at the same time, my AI is constantly working on a process, and I've trained it on that process. It knows how to do that process. This presentation here that you guys are watching, this whole script, I wrote in 20 minutes on the car on the way here. The whole thing, 20 minutes in the car on the way here from my phone. Yes. Oh, wait, you, yes, and then you, yes.
I just want to clarify a couple items.
Yeah.
Number 1, you talked about reverse prompting.
Mm-hmm.
Is your process that you're describing right now predicated around just the use of reverse prompting, number 1? And number 2, are you also introducing what you call bots, or is that the same as agents?
So yeah, so let me answer all of that. So first of all, reverse prompting is just my method. Right at the very beginning, I was very frustrated that my results weren't what I wanted from AI. And I started asking the AI, how would you get this? How would you do that? And that changed my entire dynamic. While everyone else was saying, I'm going to get my AI to do something, I'd be like, who's better at this than me? How would they do it? And I just have a naturally curious tone, and that worked really well with AI. And then I refined that into a format, and it was, who's the best at doing this? How would they do it? Can you do it for me? And that became my process, and that's the reverse prompting. And that, in every company we go into, they scrap every other prompting method and they use that. And you never need a prompt library or anyone telling you a God prompt or any other stuff they make up. That will get you the results to anything you want. That's a separate piece, though. Bots and agents, this is another one of those words. What's the difference between them? People get very confused about that terminology. And actually, the official terminology for it 4 years ago is different to what it is today. The reality is, when we go into a company, we use every single tool that makes sense for a company to use, from agents to bots to what have you, right? Agentic methods, it doesn't matter. The tools are almost irrelevant. The process is what matters. And we say to a company, you can't be shifting how your processes work every 6 months to a year. So we look for long-term strategies. We look for what AI tool can you probably bank on today that 3 years from now you could probably still be using. That's how we build companies. Because some of the most successful companies I've ever seen still have whiteboards and pen and paper, still, and they're making millions. So when we go in with AI and we're like, you guys aren't even using the laptops, you know, like we understand they need longevity because that's where wealth's built. We know how to build companies. So, yes, you had a question.
I understand the entire principle here and what you're saying. I think there's this sort of mysterious, it's very mysterious to me, I have in fact been using AI and it turns out I've been actually kind of using it right.
Nice.
The gap in my knowledge comes from the not knowing the capabilities fully. So you speak about bots and agents, like I have no idea about that. So where can I learn more about the kind of end, and
Yeah.
what's it capable of doing? Is the strategy, I understand.
Perfect. So again, so that's a really good question. It's like, what tools are there? For me, there's a few ways. Like, first of all, I would absolutely recommend you guys go to chiefaiofficer.com, have a look around the website. We break down what we think's good. But every Friday, I do a free call at 2 o'clock Central Time on Zoom. And I do it from my own personal website. You can find me on Instagram. I think my first slide has my name on it. But yeah, you guys are all welcome to follow me. Every Friday, 2 p.m. Central Time, I do a free talk about the latest tools and what's worth using and what's not using. So a week ago, Pomeli got released, which is a new Google Labs experimental tool. Pomeli is like an advertising agency, and it's really scaring some people. You don't need Canva, it will do all the graphics for you. Pomeli, P-O-M-E-L-L-I. And so I will be reviewing Pomeli this Friday. So again, I gave it a week, I tested it, I played with it, and now it's been a week. I'm like, okay, here's the new tool, here's what we're gonna talk about, and here's how to use it. And I'll be teaching that this Friday at 2 o'clock Central Time. And so that's the best way to learn. Like, a buddy of mine's got a great phrase. He goes, everyone's full of shit. You just gotta find people that like your brand of shit, and they'll listen to you. And so that's my brand of shit, is I like saying as it is, being real, and talking about how to actually do it. So the answer is find somebody that is living it all day, every day. Find the person that you like listening to and be like, that's gonna be my advisor, I'm just gonna listen to them. And I've done that in a lot of different areas of my life, and it's never gone wrong. I just pick someone, I'm like, oh, this person. Like, I've got a buddy who's a lawyer, and it's just, I ask him my legal stuff first. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other lawyers, and I could do a whole bunch of research, I could use ChatGPT, but it's really nice to call up my buddy and be like, hey, dude, And he's like, I don't practice that type of law. I'm like, yeah, but whatever. Like, just tell me, like, get your person, find your person that you can call up and be like, should I be doing this? Shouldn't I be doing that? You got a good instinct, it sounds like you're using it the right way. Now you just got to find the few tools that are really good. And again, you only need 1 or 2 really good tools to get a big ROI. Then take that money, time, and energy, and then you can start researching some other stuff. That's honestly the biggest process. Yeah.
So you were talking about software that is basically wrapping up one of the main
Mhm.
LMMs. What about things like these agentic softwares? Because I use Lendy.ai and I love it because I think the tokenization is worth it because of just everything it can do, all the APIs.
Yeah.
The whole system, the Rails, everything. It just makes it really easy. And I don't have to have some big consultant or anything. So do you think
This is,
is it like the scalability thing where at some point it becomes not worth the investment of all the tokens?
here's the way I think about it. And I'm not going to comment on that particular software because I don't use it all the time. And it would be unfair for me to do it. If it's working for you, great. Most of the companies you work in, I'm like, if you've already got a software and it's working, great, keep doing it. My concern with those companies is how much runway do they have? We only have to look at the history of technology to see that there is a boom and a bust. Every major technology in the last 50 years, at least, boom and bust. The dot-com bust, you guys all remember that one?
Yep.
The telecommunication bust. Yep. Where's the AI bust? Probably 2027, just so you know.
Some companies are arguing later, but
It could be later, but I'm predicting, my money's on 2027. I actually have a blog post on my own personal blog where I talk about this. I've got a lot of historic evidence. 2027 would mathematically be where our next financial crash is. There's something called the Benner cycle. If you guys look up Benner cycle, you'll see it. But 2027 is probably the next crash. For it to be an AI crash makes sense to me as far as I'm concerned, especially when you look at companies like Builder AI, $1.5 billion valuation, funded by Microsoft, part funded, and then they have that issue, right? Now, what I'm saying is, if you build in a piece of software that is not financially solvent, If there is a crash and that software goes down, all your processes go with it. That, as a chief AI officer, is my biggest concern, because I'm dealing with some companies that are multi-billion-dollar companies, and if I give them an AI process, I'm like, this cool software is great, but that company isn't big enough to weather a financial storm, that's very, very bad. Like I said, a good AI advisor isn't just someone who knows AI, they have to understand business and strategy as well, and I really do. And I would never risk a small company being the provider of a tool to a company that relies on it. That would be my fear.
What's your metric for big enough?
Google, Facebook, the ones that are actually building this. If they didn't build the LLM, I don't know if they've got the financial viability to fund it. That's the reality. All these other ones, I'm terrified of what they can do. Look at Canva. Canva's a great example. 6 months ago, I told everyone, AI is really good, and there are still great software out there like Canva. Now Pomeli just came out. My last 3 campaigns, in the last week, I used Pomeli instead of Canva. I love Canva. I use Canva all day, every day, but I've switched to Pomeli just because it's faster, quicker, and easier, and that becomes terrifying.
Quick question.
Yeah,
My question is the last one, because we gotta wind
of
down.
course.
But when you're talking about Pomeli
Mhm.
and Canva, and you're saying, you know, how long they're gonna last, Google, some of these things are experimental.
Right,
Are you
great.
sure that Pomeli is gonna be around? Can they put a
Oh,
lot of
this-
money into Canva?
Sharon, you are a very smart person.
Well, I know, I'm.
It's a good question.
Lab,
Yeah.
okay?
No, it's a good question.
You know,
Circle, where did Circle go from Google, right? So, but this is how I look at it.
It's not getting used, they're gonna remove it.
Right, this is how I look at it. I don't look at the tool, I look at the capability. Meli might go, but Gemini will gain the ability to do it. So that's how I think, but you're right. Yeah. So I'm never 100%, like Circle, where did Circle go? It really just became YouTube. Like they just were like, we're just gonna do this instead, because they already had their own social media platform. So it's a very good question you're asking though. And again, I'm still bullish on Canva. I still think Canva's gonna be around. Like I actually love Canva a lot, but I always look at the traits and I'm like, if it's quicker and easier to go to Pomeli, there may be a vision in the world where I make that switch. Oh yeah, Flow's fun. It's just VO3, but in a package. But you got it, and Flow might vanish, VO3 might vanish, but it will get eaten by Gemini. I do want to answer more questions, but I am out of time. Guys, feel free to turn up if you want to turn up on the Friday, 2 o'clock. I'm happy to answer questions. Thank you all for having me.
Don't forget to come to me for the parking vouchers. If you need any. I do.
Someone just said you're lucky your girlfriend's a personal chef. And I was like, yep. Hi, Bella. She literally, I was like, hey, what are we going to eat while we're in town? She goes, I have fresh duck breast.